Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Vishaka, I'm going to demote you from being empress to a chaprasi for what you did today. Thank you, Vishaka, for those wonderful words of introduction. Today's conclave is actually it's a brainchild of Abhishek Karnani and Preepesh John. It would have been possible but for the active support involvement. So I want to thank, to start with, both Preepesh Journal and Abhishek. I also see Ashok here. Thank you, Ashok, wherever you are, for being a wonderful partner to IAA to getting this going. I happened to talk to a couple of people before we got into the room, and I discovered that there is very little knowledge of IAA, and I thought I'd take a couple of minutes to tell you what IAA stands for, what it does. International Advertising Association, IAA, is a global organization. It is only 75 years old. It's celebrating platinum jubilee. In India, it is 22 years old, and we represent the interests of advertising overall. We have three legs to stand on: the marketers' legs, the media leg, and the advertising agencies' leg. And I think we don't do this three-legged race, but I think we all run that race in cohesion. We do a reasonably good job. Advertising, we believe, is very, very important from the consumer point of view. It reduces prices, as you all know. It improves competition, therefore improves quality. And also, I think it improves standard of living. I think, therefore, something that all of us at IAA believe we should strongly protect and nurture. We also believe that advertising should have its own self-regulation. We should not have much of government interference in how we conduct ourselves in this business. And so IAA strongly has been supporting and will support self-regulation advertising. So if some of you are not part of IAA, I think it's an exciting body. We do have some very excellent seminars, conferences, very, very VIP speakers coming and addressing us. And all members of IAA are invited to all these meetings. So there is an invitation to join IAA in the docket that's in front of you. Do feel free to get a member to propose a second due, and we're quite happy to induct you onto our membership. But today is a conclave about small and medium-sized agencies, what we call emerging agencies. And I was wondering whether there is any big future for emerging agencies, given the advent of big agencies, multinational agencies coming in, making a big difference to our market. Then I therefore studied the two important documents. One is, there is an association called Advertising Agencies Association of India. I looked at their membership list for the last 5 years. And I found that 5 years ago, we had 69 members who I can loosely categorize as small and medium. And today, looking at the same group of people, we have 88. I also looked further, and I find that out of 69 members, 19 of them have kind of withdrawn their membership, making that number, starting number from 69 to 50. That means that there are 38 new people who have joined 3SFI in the last 5 years, from small and medium-sized agencies. That means there is a robust business out there, and people are wanting to be part of 3SFI to actually get better facilities and services that they can provide to their advertisers. Another report I saw, not a report, another handbook, IMS handbook that I read and studied over, last 5 years. We had, 5 years ago, 770 accredited members in IMS. Today we have 870. And further analysis, we find that out of 770, 100 have kind of withered away. That means 200 have joined the last 5 years as accredited agencies of IMS. Again, telling you that there is a robust business for small and medium-sized agencies, what we call emerging agencies, out there. asked to talk about our own company and see how we have actually kind of structured ourselves to address this business as entrepreneur. Our company, our group is 40 years old. It started by, it's very fashionable to talk about family and all this, so let me talk about family now in this environment of what's happening in politics. My father started this company 40 years ago with blood, sweat, and tears, but 40 years ago this company was started. So we are in the second generation of this company. And what we did was, we started this as a large format shop. The very first month, very first day when we opened the shop, we had 25 people. The very first month, we had more than 40 people in the company. And when I say large format shop, I do realize that we had, at that time, a research department, which is very not even heard of today as Artisans have a research department. We had a photographer, in-house photographer, which again unheard of in today's environment. We had, of course, a full production team, print production and press production, which was required at that time for the requirements of studios and mats and blocks and all that. So it was a big team, and it started off in Madras and then again backwaters of the advertising market. They quickly moved on to Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta. The next 3-4 years, we had virtually all the 4 big metros. And first 5 years, he somehow managed to bring a top 10 in India across as the agency ranking goes. And it was probably a wrong mistake he made. Around that time, I also joined the agency in 1978. So I've been part of the journey for the last 35 years. So I can say with some confidence that I've contributed to somewhat to the growth and stability of this company in whatever way little way could. But it was, I think, a turning point for this company came, or so we thought, in 1985 when we partnered with BBDO. It was a wonderful partner, wonderful relationship. We had it was the days of Leher Pepsis and LML Vespas and all that, where the brand names were not allowed to be, foreign brand names were not allowed to use without addition. So in 5 years' time, we got into an equity relationship with them, minority equity stake. Things were going fine. In 6 years' time thereafter, by 1991, we had an equity relationship. By 2000, we had a majority relationship with BBDO. And then we found that there were some fissures in the relationship developing, because when we had some issues regarding new divisions, growth, and whatever opportunity that we want to pursue, there were a lot of restrictions that were posed on financial side, on reporting side, and all of that. It took us another 3-4 years to sort out that, and we got back our majority. So RKSM BBDO is a minority-owned company of BBDO worldwide. And I think that is the starting point for what I would call a re-energized phase of growth. We used the next few years to start a multitude of divisions, which actually have helped us to show good growth and also offer diversified services to clients. Because we do have something called social rural direction to take on social and rural communication. That's a growing segment in this country. We have a healthcare communication group called Pharma Direction. We have a human resources communication group called HR Direction. We have digital direction to take on interactive media. We also have something called RKSM Interactive, came to website development. So we got to many of these various businesses because we felt that the growth would come from offering diversified services. We also relaunched Ansa Vision, which was only the business of television programming at the time, with a variety of marketing services products. We got into Ansa Events and Activation, Ansa Retail Identity, Ansa InfoSource, which is again selling secondary market data. We also started a consulting division for media and marketing. We had Ansa Media Services to offer media services for competing clients for RKSM BBDO. We also had started something called ANSA Global Language to help provide language services for all languages from across the globe. As an adjunct to pharma direction, we also started a continuing medical education business called ANSA Medcel, which again has been a thriving business for us. We also started in partnership with Fine Swami here, a company called ANSA Customer Equity. It's the marketing analytics, data analytics business, where we have call centers, data analytics, and consumer campaigns, which is an amazing growth business. And Mr. Nagesh, who's also a speaker, is a client of ours there. ANSA Security and ANSA Research are two companies which are, I think, among the foremost in India. It's purely Indian owned. Every other company otherwise has some international relationship. So homegrown two companies doing very well in these two respective segments are part of our setup. Because we also have two other businesses. We are the franchise. We've taken franchise for Pizza Hut in Tamil Nadu. We have some 23 stores in Tamil Nadu, and also we have a real estate company in Tamil Nadu. So that actually is as possible because we decided to not be enslaved by what somebody sits in some other part of the globe telling us to do what we should do. And I also made sure that we have diversified kind of businesses, we can do what we want, and at the same time, we can take advantage of what international leaders like BBDO can offer. We still get invited to all their important meetings, we are part of their global network. So I think we enjoy the freedom as well as all the benefits of being part of a worldwide global network. I did mention that we have some 20 different businesses that we have. Some of you may want to look at some of that. I think I will encourage you to do that. But most important criterion that we actually adopt before we embrace any new business is to identify the person internally to take on that responsibility. Take tentative steps to start with, see the potential that we see in that, and then launch it as a large format unit. So first step is to identify the right person, and then experiment with it, and then launch it in a big way. And to our mind, if and when any of you are wanting to start any of the business that we're talking about, marketing services or relating to specialized divisions in advertising, the only way I think you should do is to identify the person who can actually take that forward. And I know I have limited time, so I'm going to come back to maybe Q&A, which Shaka has been directly attuned to. I want to talk briefly about the purpose of business. I think it's very important from emerging agencies' perspective. We all think that the purpose of business is to serve the customer, make sure the food is put on the table for the family to live comfortably and all that. To our mind, purpose of business is the larger purpose of creating an asset. A business is an asset very much like a piece of land or a piece of jewelry or some shares that you may want to buy in a company. And after your time, there must be some willing buyer who will put real money on the table to acquire you. And the only way they'll show interest in acquiring you is when you have built it to a position where the company does not require you to run it anymore. If you are going to be running it yourself, the chance of you being acquired is very little. So grow it, get the scale that is required to that company so that you alone cannot handle that company anymore. You need to actually delegate, grow, and make it available for somebody else to be interested in acquiring. All small businesses, I'm not talking about advertising alone, 3 out of 10 only gets passed on to the next generation. 1 out of 10 moves to the third generation. So 7 out of 10 businesses die with the entrepreneur who starts it. I do hope that this group that we have here, by the end of the day, will go home and start thinking how this business is going to be grown to such a level that we don't need to be leaving it dead, that can be an asset that can get passed on to the next generation and more. Thank you. And if there are any questions that any of you want to ask, we'll be happy to answer. Thank you.